What's up, everybody?
I'm Ranuma.
And I'm Iz.
And welcome to the rnipodcast.
Alright.
What's going on?
Everybody?
So right now, part 2 of the Halloween special for rnipodcast. And today, we are joined with a very special guest, a very good friend of mine, by the name of Leo Serrano.
What's up, Leo?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Not bad. How about yourself?
Pretty good, just chilling.
I'm ready. I'm ready. My heart's ready for this. Okay. I'm not very good with scary stuff.
Oh, jeez. This is perfect then. Episode 13, guys.
Trying to smile, trying to be like me.
It's like, oh my God.
Legit.
So today we're going to talk about scary stories as we talked about earlier just now. I don't know any other person that has as much scary stories as this gentleman right here, Leo. My goodness. We visited his one house for pupusas one time, and he was showing the kids
Wait.
and stuff.
Y'all had pupusas?
Yeah, pupusas.
Y'all didn't invite me?
I mean...
Now, just so y'all know, I've also known Leo for a
You're
very long
invited next time, bro. You're invited next time.
Wow. Okay.
My bad. I mean, we
had your boys.
We had dinner. I mean... My bad, Leo.
See the utter, just like, wait, y'all had pupusas? What?
and then so he was telling the stories to the kids, and it was just hilarious. It was very amusing as I was watching them getting all scared and stuff. So
going underneath the sheet.
Yeah.
Trying to listen in.
So Leo, tell us about yourself before we get started here. Just a little glimpse.
Shoot. Let's see. I'm a pre-med student. Taurus.
Ooh.
No, just kidding. No, but I am a Taurus. I'm not joking about that.
Just throw it out there.
Yeah. No, but I am engaged, so I'm taking ladies. Sorry. Getting married in like 2 or 3 weeks. But other than that, I am the biggest chicken you'll probably ever meet in your life. I am terrified of scary movies or just anything scary in general. I just can't handle it. And yet, like you said, I've experienced way too many scary things in my life, which is crazy. But I and I will say that I am, to some extent, I am like a skeptic. Like I don't believe everything that happens to me or just happens in general like is supernatural. But sometimes when you can't explain it, the unexplainable is something creepier than you think.
Yeah. Just like how that picture was moving behind you.
Don't do that.
I'm just kidding.
I'll start looking back there.
My bad. So, we also have scary stories ourselves. We're gonna try to match you. So I'm gonna throw one out, and then you just throw one out. All right. We'll go back and forth. All right.
All right.
So, you want to go first?
Me?
Yeah. That 4-year-old encounter.
Are you sure? Okay,
I
so
want to hear
check
about that.
So I was 4 years old, and I used to sleep kind of like messy. Like I would always have the blankets all over the place, the pillows all over the place, and whatnot. But my feet was always exposed. So anyway,
I'm sorry. Did you say your
one
thing is always exposed?
my feet.
Oh, okay.
Halloween.
Whoa.
That's a different holiday.
Whoa.
But anyway, 4 years old,
to that holiday.
sleeping. My feet are outside of the blanket, and then all of a sudden I feel someone tickling my feet, and so I wake up, but I just kind of move my feet, and then nothing, and then all of a sudden the tickling commences, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? I wake up, no one's there, and so I'm all like, yo, who was that? Oh, it's probably my dad. So I wake up, I go into my parents' room, they knocked out. Actually, I could hear them snoring before I even left my room. So I'm just like, it couldn't have been them. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, who was that? So anyway, the next day, I fall asleep and I leave my feet. I do like an experiment and I leave my feet out. Happened again. And then this time I woke up real fast and no one was there. And so I ran to the front door. I tried to reach the doorknob. Now I'm 4, so I can't really open the door. But it feels locked, I'm assuming. But I'm just like, no one came inside. So it's not my parents. No one came into my house to just tickle my feet. Something's going on. Then the third day I did the same thing. But this time I didn't open up my eyes all the way. And all of a sudden I just see this huge shadow in front of me tickling my feet. And then I'm like, oh, open my eyes. It's gone. And that was my 4-year-old account.
That is creepy, bro.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
Creepy. I
had my Ninja Turtle blanket on. Bro, I had to make sure. I had so much troubleshooting to do.
Oh my God.
Within like 3-4 days. I kept telling my parents, I was like, yo, someone's tickling my feet. And I want to say like 5 years later, like my parents are like, I think that was your uncle. I was like, excuse me?
Alive or a dead uncle?
My uncle had passed away already. My uncle had passed away when he was 16. And my dad was 13 at the time. And so this is like 30 years ago. He would be like 40 something in spirit form. Like, yeah, so crazy.
Tickle.
My feet. Tickle.
Yes. Uncle or not, please stop tickling my feet in the middle of the night.
Please, Uncle, stop.
Uncle, stop. Uncle,
that just goes to show, like, I wonder if he would have scared me more back in the, like, if he was alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Saying the same thing. Tickle is a...
Yeah, and you know, I'm born and raised in Hawaii.
Right.
You know, we have a lot of superstition out there, so I believed every word.
Oh, I bet.
You know, but that was my encounter, short and sweet and scary AF.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, definitely.
We're gonna throw the ball at you now, Leo. Here we go.
Say what?
We're gonna throw the ball at you, Leo.
Oh, okay.
So let's hear one.
All right. I'll give you like the first encounter I ever had then.
Okay.
We're going to throw it back to when I was a kid. I was probably like 8 years old. This was in Toronto, Canada, right? So I was like 8. My brother was like 4. And I had a best friend who was probably like a year or two younger than me. And I lived on the 15th floor of this apartment building, right? And so me, my brother, and my friend, we're outside in the hallway. And we're just playing games, you know, because it was such a long hallway. We could play like kick hockey, where we just use our feet. Like I guess like soccer mixed with hockey all together. Right. And we would just play that around or whatever. And then we just decided, oh, you know what would be great? Let's see who can keep going in like a circle, like try to get ourselves dizzy, and who can stand the longest before we all like just, you know, pass out from just being dizzy as heck, cool. Right? Wow. So we're all standing there. And we start turning. I'm not kidding you. Not even like 2 seconds after turning, we all stop. And my brother goes, "Did you see that?" And my friend goes, "Yeah. There were 2 guys, right?" And I'm like, and we all saw the same thing. We saw 2 men, just dressed all in black. It was like a black, like a raincoat or a trench coat, and they had like hats that was like kind of tilted, but their face was absolutely pitch black. Right, you could not see anything in their faces whatsoever, and they were both standing by the elevator as if they were waiting for the elevator to come, right?
Okay.
But yeah, we saw them when we were turning, and then when we all stopped, they were gone, right? And we were all like, "What the heck was that?" Right? And we got so freaked out, we didn't hear the elevator come up, and like the 2 emergency staircases at the both ends of the apartment are like huge, just loud banging doors when they shut. And we didn't hear the elevator, we didn't hear nobody go through any of the doors. We were freaking out, so we ran back into my house, right? Mm-hmm. And we shut the door, and we're just like, okay, one of us has to go out there and like inspect the situation. And I love my brother so much that I volunteered him to go for us.
Just to throw it out there, right?
Yeah,
out there.
Definitely. I don't want anybody
Bro,
to
you're
think
so brave.
No. Like, so Carlos, you're gonna go out there for us. So we tie a jump rope to him, and we had like 3 jump ropes. So we tied all these jump ropes together, and we tie one into him, and we opened the door, and all the doors of the like all the front doors to all the houses, they had the automatic, like the things that close doors automatically, you know, the little hinges at the top. And so we open it, and we pry it open with a wedge, and like, all right, guys, let's go out there and see what was that all about.
With the bungee cord?
Grant, look, you have to also understand, my brother is like the only person on the planet who isn't scared of anything. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only time he was ever scared was watching it, and that was when he was like 10, and that was the only time he was ever scared. Other than that, my brother doesn't get scared about nothing, right? So we're like, all right, Carlos, you're gonna go out there and figure this out for us. And so we push him out the door, and he starts walking, and he gets to the end of the rope, and there's nothing, obviously.
Right.
But the elevator just goes off, and you just hear boom, and just the sound of the elevator moving, and my brother's like, ah, pull me back, and we start pulling on the rope, and I'm not kidding you, as we pull him right as we pull him through the door closes on him and smashes closed, and he rams the back of his body into the door.
Oh,
and
geez.
And we like, what the heck? How did that just close? We open the door and we pull him in, and he's like, why did you close the door on me? That hurt. It's like, bro, we didn't touch the door. I'm telling you, man, it was the creepiest thing that I've ever like. That was like the first time I've ever experienced anything creepy, but it was menacing, bro. These 2 men they were just standing there, and they were just like looking at the elevator as if they were waiting for it, but you couldn't see any facial expression. You could barely like make out like details of their bodies. It just looked like they were wearing black coats with black hats. It was creepy.
Yo. I'm looking at like this building as like it's all made of stone, and then there's this like really nice like elevator at the end with these 2 dudes just like chilling like anime characters.
I wish it looked that way. It did not.
It was a little more horrifying than that.
No, man. And like, just to add, like, I've been listening to a lot of like scary podcasts lately, because my sister like got me hooked on this, and on this podcast they describe this ghost creature, and it's called a Hat Man, right? And when they described him, it was literally the same description of the people we saw, and I was just like, nope. Nope.
They're coming for you.
I wonder if that was the same dude that tickled my feet.
I don't know, man. It was creepy.
You didn't get a good look at his face, you know?
Maybe but I got a good look at his like body was in all black.
Yeah.
Probably put a hat over himself and everything.
But it's different when everybody sees the same thing.
Right.
So
all 3 of us saw it.
That's crazy.
You know?
Wow.
It was crazy.
Oh, man. Well, I don't know if I could top that. That's your first story? Jeez. Oh, man. Okay. All right. So this one, oh, man, that's a tough one to recover from. So the first one, it was when I was a kid also. This was back in Sacramento, California. I remember I was in either 3rd or 4th grade. And I had my own room, and my brother did as well. The only thing I remember was the doorbell ringing around like 2 or 3 in the morning. So doorbell was ringing, and my dad had opened the door, and nobody was there. And because he's kind of like a light sleeper. So when he hears something, he immediately goes up and inspects and investigates. He's that kind of guy, you know. So he goes back to the room, and then second time around, doorbell again. Again, nobody was there. And so he went into my room because my room had a window to the front house, and he was just looking around, and it was for some reason pitch black. It was like really dark, and we had like I think a few street lights that we can see from our window, and they were just little flickering. They're flickering a little bit, and so yeah. So I'm like, okay, and this is when I woke up. I was just awake, laying in bed. I don't know if my brother was, but again, the doorbell rang again, this time my dad opened up. But before he even opened it, he was just yelling like, "Who is it? Who is it?" And my mom was like right behind, with the phone, ready to call the police, whatever. Because this was like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. Again, nobody was there. Because if you look through our screen door, it's one of those very dense ones, and it's black also. So he like looking through the holes. And you really can't see anything. So again, he goes to my room. He goes to my brother's room. He looks out. And it was when he went to my brother's room that he saw a figure underneath one of the street lights. Again, so we had two, right? One of them's out. The other one was flickering. And one time, and this is my dad explaining to me, he said that one time it flickered and it just turned off. And when it turns on, there's this little girl and dressed in white with her hair just all in the front, apparently. Yeah, and she let out a huge scream, and that's when I woke up. And so my parents grabbed my brother and myself and locked the door, and we were in the master bedroom the rest of the night, actually. And I did not want to see it. And when he told me that story, I was like, when did that happen? He didn't want to tell me like the next day. He literally told me like a week after, because he knew that I was like a little scaredy cat when I was little. So yeah, little settle down before he told me the story. But I was just like, did that really happen? And that was like the only story that I remembered, like his version. And
You said it screamed or yelled?
Yeah, it just screamed. It's
if
like one of those high
that just showed up in front of me screamed, I would just, whoa,
I mean, but okay, so 3 things were happening. The streetlight that it was above, the little girl, was flickering. That's 1. 2, he's saying that he couldn't get a glimpse of the face. The hair was like all over, looking down, whatever. 3, the scream. I think that's what put him overboard. The scream just like, okay, that's the siren.
Not that creepy little girl standing under the light, but the scream itself is what.
Yeah. So we couldn't even. Yeah, it was like one of those things. Like what just happened? And yeah, that still creeps me out. Because I'm still afraid of like those little girls in white dresses and stuff. Like The Grudge was not the movie for me to see at the time either.
Holy jeez.
Bro, the entire time you're telling that story, I'm like looking into my camera, making sure I don't see anything pop out behind me. I would deuce it out of here right now.
Just making sure that no lights are flickering in the background.
Yeah, right? No, man. Oh, look, there's 2 things that I don't handle well, and you know this, bro. And I'm embarrassed to say this, especially on a podcast.
Dude, just lay it out.
2 things I don't handle: little children in scary movies, and dolls. Those 2 things I don't mess with. All right.
Hold on.
No.
One word.
No. Those look.
Such a deceit.
I know. I have an absolute. I know it's irrational. Okay, I'm gonna say it right now. I know it's irrational, but I have an absolute fear of Chucky. Chucky just terrifies me. Like, you want to see me, like, crawl into a corner and just cry myself to sleep? Just show me a picture of Chucky, and you got me. All right.
No.
I can't do Chucky. I can't.
Like that one time.
I remember I watched, or not watched, but I saw a Chucky, and I was like, what's so scary about him? And then I saw the movie, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna hurt you.
It's a doll, but then.
Oh, I see.
So I was 3 years old, and I don't know why, but I was in a room, like one of my cousin's rooms, and she has dolls everywhere, and for whatever reason, Chucky was playing on the TV, and I'm watching this movie. I don't know what's going on. I'm just watching about a doll trying to kill a little boy, and I'm surrounded by dolls, man.
The movie became so different after that. After that ended, the credits came. You're just like.
You're like, I'm in the wrong place right now.
And people don't believe me, but that movie is scarred in my mind. My cousin tried to scare me once, like a few years ago, and she just pulled a random scene right? It was like a bathroom scene, and I walked into the room and I saw the bathroom, and it was on pause, and I was like, no, you better change that. And she's like, why? That's Chucky. I know for a fact that is Chucky. I don't know where he is yet, but that's the bathroom scene from Chucky. She's like, how do you know that? Like, it's up in here, man. Forever and ever.
But you've only seen the one movie though, right?
That's all I can handle, bro.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure there's like other. I think there's like 2 and 3, and then there's
of them.
There's like more than that. There's like more than that. Like the Bride of Chucky and stuff like that. Like,
and then they remade it, and
yeah.
Oh yeah, they did remake it. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Oh jeez.
I remember him coming over one time, and Haley was like watching Chucky. I didn't even know she was trying to do it on purpose.
Oh yeah.
She knew that Leo was there, and his reaction was priceless.
Yeah, I was like, I can't stay here if you're gonna start watching. You gotta turn it off. I'm sorry.
Like you're slowly backing up. Yeah. Like you're putting your shoes on.
Okay.
Opening the door. Yeah, nah.
I'm out of here. Bye. No, man.
Woo. Oh man.
You text. Yeah, if you keep playing that.
Yeah, no Chucky. No more Chucky for Leo.
No, I can't, bro. I can't.
Oh man. So what's another story you got?
Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to go.
He's like, there's so many, I can't.
I'm gonna go chronological order here. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the first one, and that was like when I was 9, right? The next one, I didn't experience another like event, right? Because I'm still partially skeptical about the situation, but it felt real. And I like I said, I don't like to like believe that happened to me, just because I'm like, I don't want to sound like a crazy person, right? So the event, and this happened probably like 2008 or not. Whenever Randolph went with his family to the Philippines. I don't know what year that was. It was like
2011.
Was it really that late? Dang.
I think 2011.
Okay, so 2011 is when I experienced the next one, and so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it was all my encounters are like real short and sweet, right? So I'm sitting here. So the computer is still facing the same direction it always faced, right? So right behind me, right here, is the door to the hallway. And my brother is sitting right here, and I'm standing right behind him. And he was just searching the web for something. I don't know what we were doing. But my door was open to my room. So I'm standing there, and we're just talking as he's looking on the computer. Out of nowhere, I feel this hand grab my shoulder and like pull me back like this, as if they were trying to grab my attention. Like you know when you yank somebody behind so they turn around.
Yeah.
It grabs my shoulder, and I turn all the way around, and I'm just like, yeah. And there's no one standing there. I was like, what the heck? And I look out the hallway door, and there's no one in the hallway. And I hear my parents talking, and they're in their room. So I go to their room, and I'm like, did you guys come to the room to like grab me or something? Yeah. And they're like, no. And that's when I'm just like, I just like got shivers all over my body. And Mom was like, why? What happened? And my mom on the other hand, she's very superstitious, right? She'll like stop the car if a black cat crosses her path and do the whole like drive backwards 3 times to drive forward. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, and she like reverses it like and brakes like 3 times. So I tell my mom, look, this is what happened. Like I felt something grab my arm or whatever, and my mom decided to tell me, oh, mijo, which is like son, right? That just means like somebody really close to you might just have passed away, and they're saying goodbye. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, you don't be saying stuff like that. Is there anyone you can't get in contact right now? I'm like, are you serious? And so I was like, I'm thinking in my head, who can I not get in contact? And I'm like, Randolph is the only person who's like on the other side of the world right now. And I was like, oh my God, my friend just died. So I text her real quick. I'm like, Randolph, man, you need to answer me right now. Are you okay? Is everything good with you, homie? And I don't get a response for like I think it was like a day or 2, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. He eventually writes back, and he's like, yeah, man, why? What's wrong? I was like, you're alive. And he's like, yeah, everything is good. I'm like, oh, thank God, bro. Like, I'll tell you later when you come back into town. But I just experienced something really creepy, and then my mom decided to make it terrifying with me.
She knows you. She knows you already.
Right? And and that was so scary. Like, and that's not the first time that's happened. Like, maybe a few years later, I come back from college, or I'm at school, and I come back from school, and my mom is in the kitchen, and in our kitchen we have an island, right? And so I'm standing on one side of the island, and you saw this, Randolph, when you came over for not the pupusas, definitely not the pupusas.
Yeah, not the pupusas.
Right.
It was just Doritos.
Yeah. The space between the refrigerator and the island is probably like maybe 2 feet, right? And so I'm standing in between there, and I'm talking to my mom. We're just having a conversation or whatever, when I feel a tap on my shoulder. We usually tap, like, if we're going in the kitchen, we usually tap each other, and we'll just like scoot up so that the person can, pass behind you to do whatever they want in the kitchen, because I was blocking the way. And I feel this tap on my shoulder, and I go, yeah, and as I turn, there's nobody there. And I'm like, what the heck? And I just look at my mom, and I'm like, Ma, is anybody home? Is Pa home? And she's like, no, he's at work. And it's like, what the flip? And my brother and my sister are still in school. I was like, what the heck? And I'm like, oh, not again. And she's like, why? He's like, somebody just tapped me on the shoulder.
Thought they needed something in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You have a wanted shoulder, Leo. Everybody wants her shoulder for some reason.
Right. I don't know what the heck is going on.
It's got spirit
man.
energy on the shoulder, bro.
That's what my mom said. That's what my mom was saying a while ago. She's like, oh, you're just really sensitive to spirits. I'm like, well, I don't want to be sensitive to spirits.
Can we turn that off?
Yeah, can we? Is there like a return policy on the Sixth Sense? Because I don't want it.
Return policy.
I tried it. I didn't like it. I want my money back.
I've had this for so long already. Oh man,
the receipt's like 666 and stuff like that.
It was creepy, man. It was creepy.
Man.
Like I said, it's not like anything like extravagant or like, oh, I saw a ghost, and it was like, it's just like, it was simple, sensational feeling. Like, it was just somebody grabbed me or touched me, and I was just like, it was a reaction to it. It's like, what? Oh yeah, and there's nothing. Or a tickle. Yeah, you know what it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get tickled, but
I mean, mine,
and see, that one like that spirit liked their feet. He's got the shoulders, but they like their feet.
Right. You got
the shoulder lean, and I got the feet fetish. Ghost.
Well, I mean, your next story isn't as bad as a 4-year-old one.
It's not as bad, but it's still creepy in a way. Okay, so I'm like 7 years old now. Okay, so it's like 10 p.m. It's pretty late for me. And my dad's heading out to go to 7-Eleven. And where I was sleeping, there's a window that can look down into the car where it's parked. And I'm like, hey, Dad, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to 7-Eleven. I was like, okay, bye. And then he drives off. And then I'm just trying to go back to sleep. So all of a sudden, I hear a creak in the stairs, like and I'm like, I'm looking down to make sure, like, oh, maybe it's my dad. And Pono is a baby, so it's not him. And my mom was asleep. And so I look at my door. My door is like slightly open, and I hear the stairs again. Dirt. I'm like, someone's coming upstairs. Someone is coming upstairs. Then all of a sudden, when I realize that, it comes faster, like, okay? And then I'm like, oh. And so I get up, and I look over to my door, which is open a little bit, and then all of a sudden you just see the door go like this.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, snap. I covered my body with my blanket. Then all of a sudden I felt feet across my body, and then it just disappears. And I get up so quick, and I'm like jumping out of my bed. I run out of the already open door now, and I'm in my parents' bed. I'm underneath my mom's arm. Okay, now when I close the door, I didn't close the door all the way, so I'm just like shaking underneath the blanket, and I look over, and then I see my parents' door do this, and I'm like, and then. Then then I heard my mom. She was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then all of a sudden, I don't hear it anymore. And then I wake up the next day and I'm like, yo, Mom, something came into the house. Yo, okay, so I saw the door open and then I felt something touch me. That is what was like, yo, that was real as anything could be. You know what I mean? I was like, I couldn't see it, but I saw my door open and I felt something on my body, like things walking on me. I used to say to my friends telling the story that they were monkeys because it felt like they were monkeys.
I was going to say gremlins, but monkeys can be
gremlins,
too.
But there are things in Hawaii called menehune, which is like Hawaiian dwarves or like Hawaiian leprechauns. So, yeah, the mischievous leprechauns. Hawaiian ones.
Heck no, man.
Menehunes.
Heck no, bro.
Yeah.
See that?
If you just see the door just open like that,
bro.
No.
If I saw the door just open like that, I would have just been like, Mama! Forget running, man. I would have just
like exactly like that, right?
It just like I don't know what I thought. Like the best shield was a blanket,
right?
That's everybody. I mean, it's a known fact that covering yourself fully with a blanket is absolute protection from any evil spirits or monsters.
5.
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly. Divine protection.
Divine protection +5, yeah, for sure. But I felt like there was like multiple.
Really?
Spirits. Yeah, didn't feel like there was just one. It felt like there was 3.
Like they were playing tag on you.
Yeah. They're like, yo, let's go play with that Hawaiian kid upstairs.
And this happened in Hawaii, yes?
This is in Hawaii too, yeah. Both of the encounters happened to me when I was a kid. Yeah. Mm-mm. And I remember telling my entire neighborhood, and they're like, what? Nobody doubted me. And I was just like, I didn't really not believe in it. So, like, I don't know, nobody ever really doubted me, even in elementary, middle school, high school. All my friends' circles know about this story. And then whenever I bring it up to them, all of my friends remember him.
Yeah,
those stories. They're like, I was like, yeah, dude, that happened. And I tried to denounce that it didn't happen, my 7-year-old one. Because I was like, maybe I was tired or whatever. And then my dad's like, no, I went to the store.
No, I remember that day.
No, I went to the store.
The freak, damn
it. Okay, Dad, all right. Remember?
My dad just scared the hell out of me.
It's on film? Was he on
Oh man, my heart's racing right now.
See an arm like this?
If you guys are listening to the podcast, please go to the YouTube and check that out.
Gotta watch it.
Like I'm scared.
Is he watching?
He's listening on the story.
I think he grabbed the hose and he sprayed the window, but it sounded like something was scratching against it. So I turned real quick.
Dang. Oh jeez.
We're supposed to be frightened.
We're
just dying over.
This is us when we're scared, I guess. My nervous laugh times 10.
Oh well. Do you have one?
Yeah. So one occurred about a couple years ago. Very short, right? And it happened in broad daylight. I don't think it matters what time of day it is. It's a spirit. There's just always going to be out there no matter what. So we're just watching TV in our one of our apartments that we used to live in. It was off of Russell and Nellis. I don't know if you guys remember that one. So when you go in, the living room is like right there. The couch is like on the left side. On the right side, there's our dining room table. But right when you enter the apartment, you have to go straight all the way, and then that's where our master bedroom's at. Okay, so just to lay it out there. So we're watching TV, and then I decided to go wash my face. I think it was in the morning. So I went into the master bedroom, into the master bathroom, and on the sink, just washing my face, and I look up and I see a face on the mirror because where the mirror is at, the way it's angled, if I look up and look to my left a little bit, I can see who's outside the door, you know? And so I'm just watching. And okay, so I don't know about you guys, but when I'm watching my face in the shower also, I like try to open my eyes really quick just to see if anybody's there, you know? Like when you know what I mean? Like
I do that.
You know, like you're like shampooing yourself, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, who's out? You know, who's there? So it's the same reaction that I got when I was, washing my face. I look up and I'm like this, my eyes all squinty, and I look, I'm like, what the heck? And I look down, I started washing my face even more, and then dry myself up. I kept just looking at the doorway. I don't know why I had the door open to the master bathroom, but I don't know. So I run out, and I went out, and all the kids and Paulina were just sitting there watching a movie or something. And I asked them, I'm like, hold up, did one of you guys go into the room and just looked at me just now, like probably like a minute ago? And they all looked at me like, no. Like, Angel? No. Haley? Sophie? No, like, Paulina?
Was it possibly you?
Like, are you trying to pick something up on the floor? She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, well, I just saw somebody back there, and I think I'm gonna stay here until clears up. But they were like, there was just so scared because I told them, like, yeah, I literally just saw a face. And I couldn't really see because I had a whole bunch of soap on my face from the face wash. And I look up and there was a faces there. And then I continued to watch my face really fast to see who it was. Yeah. Another story, I guess.
No, I would not have even continued watching my face. I just walked out. I would just walked out. Nope. Mirrors creep me out though. Mirrors are scary, bro. Like
they are.
I'm always there's a part of me that's always ready for me to look into the mirror and then turn away from the mirror, and then my reflection is still staring at me. I'm waiting for that moment, and then just be terrified out of my mind and I knew this was coming at some point.
Man, so yeah, that was the most recent.
That's creepy, bro.
Event.
And not in the bathroom, man. That's a sanctuary's place. Don't be doing that there.
That's where.
Oh, jeez.
So you be able to be yourself in there.
I know.
It's the only place you could be yourself.
If I could just leave the door open,
Right? No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you went through that. I'm sorry.
I am too. I was just like, what is that? Oh man. So you got another one?
Oh, definitely. Okay. Time for.
He's like, I got 7 more. I got 17 more actually.
This is the scariest one. All right, this one actually put chills through my body. I mean, the other ones did too, but this one sent terrifying chills. So this was the tapping on the shoulder and all that stuff, and then this one all happened pretty close together in comparison to the other one when I was 9, and I think this one happened probably when I in oh, you know what? Dang. It must have been around the same time, 2011. Holy smokes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it. So I'm a night owl, so I like staying up and I watch TV, and YouTube is dangerous because it sucks you in and it sucks you in forever. Right? So I'm watching something. I'm pretty sure I'm watching one of my shows just trying to catch up. And it's 2:10 in the morning, right? And all I hear is I just hear footsteps, and I hear them coming. So my hallway is an L when it from my parents' room to my room, my brother's room, and my sister's room, which our 3 rooms are collectively together, and my parents' room is on the other side of the house. It's an L-shaped hallway, so you have to kind of go from their room, then come down the hallway to come to our room. And so it's 2:10 in the morning, and I hear footsteps, somebody's wearing slippers, and they're walking down from my parents' room, and it got louder and louder as it turned the corner and walked and stopped right in front of our rooms, right? And it stopped, and I was like, what? And I looked at the time, and I'm like, 2:10. It's like, who the heck is awake at 2:10 other than me? Nobody's awake at that time, and the only person who wears slippers in my house is my dad. And I'm like, I know for a fact my dad is not awake at 2:10. When he's out, he's out. He doesn't wake up for anything. I'm like, that's weird. And I just brushed it off. Maybe I was just, hearing things. So the next morning or the next day, when I see my dad, I'm like, hey, Pa, did you wake up for some reason to go, like, maybe to the kitchen, or did you come down the hallway or something? It's like, no, I was asleep. I'm like, oh, okay, then maybe it was just me then. Okay, maybe I was just imagining it. I was probably tired or something. So I just brush it aside or whatever. The night comes again, and this happens for a week straight. All right. The second night comes around, and the same thing, 2:10 on the dot. The footsteps happen again, and they come down the hall, and they turn the hallway, and they come down, and they stop right at my door again. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And I open the door real quick, and there's nothing. All the lights are off. There's nobody around. I'm like, what in the world? Okay, maybe I'm having a stroke or something. I don't even know it. Like, what's going on? Right? So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna let myself get freaked out about this, or else I'm just gonna have a hard time trying to go to bed. Third night comes around, same thing, footsteps, but right before it reached my door, I opened the door to see if I could catch whatever it is or whoever it is, because then I'm like, maybe it's my brother just trying to trick me, right, and try to scare me. And I open the door real quick, nothing, and I run down the hallway, and I turn the corner, and my parents' room is closed. I can hear my parents, they're snoring away, and I'm like, what the heck? And I go to the kitchen, nothing in the kitchen, all the lights are out, the dog is asleep, like the dog isn't even reacting to this. Right?
Okay.
And I'm like, what? Okay. And so the next day I wake up and I ask my brother, like, Carlos, man, you gotta tell me the truth, bro. You try to scare me, right? And he's like, right? Yeah. And he's like, no. Right? And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, okay, something weird is happening. Fourth night, the same thing. The fifth night, the same thing. Sixth night comes around, the same thing. And all at 2:10. And if anybody knows anything about, like, creepy things, apparently the witching hours around 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, nope. Right? On the seventh night, I was like, I hear the footsteps once again, same pattern, same everything, walking down. And as it gets to my door, I just look at the door and I was like, just leave me the frick alone. I'm tired of this. Right? And nothing happened. Like it stopped like any other night. And I was like, okay. The eighth night came around, nothing. So I was like, all right, cool. I think I dealt with this. It's gone, right? And so maybe a week or so later, I'm on the phone, and this was with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and she at the time she was having like insomnia, right? So she wasn't able to go to sleep or anything, and so I would stay on the phone with her. Insomnia is when you can't go to sleep, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on the phone with her, and I'm just talking to her and keeping her company or whatever. And 2:10 comes around the corner again, and this time I hear the creepiest thing. Now let me paint a picture for you. All right, my bed, the head of my bed faced the window, right, and the feet of my bed faced away from the window, right. So my bed was at long ways compared to the window. And then the mesh, the mesh that the netting that doesn't let bugs in or whatever, it's only on the half of my window. It's only on the part that opens up. It's not on the other side. So I'm talking to her on the phone, and I hear this scratching, just real slow, and it starts from the far end of my window, and slowly moves closer and closer and closer until it's right above my head, and it stops right above my head. And I'm just like, what? And I'm like, hey, give me a second, hold up. And I put the phone down, and I'm like, I go to the blind. I'm like, 1, 2. I'm ready to see something creepy out my window or something. And I pull down the blind, and there's nothing outside. I was like, what the heck? Was it? Maybe it was cats, because there used to be some cats that would fight right outside my window, and it was as creepy as. Have you ever heard cats fight? It was creepy. And they would go at it.
Yeah.
And but there was no cats, and they always leave fur whenever they fought. And I'm like, what the? Okay, that was super weird. And I tell her on the phone, I'm like, I don't know what that was. Something really, really creepy just happened. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you didn't hear the scratching sound on the window? And she's like, no, I didn't hear anything. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just delusional, right? I'm like, all right. And so the next night, the same thing again. 210 comes around the corner.
Oh,
and it moves down the window until it stops right above me. And when it stops right above me, I dip. I run to the front door. I open the front door and I go around the corner because my house, just like when Randolph was a kid, my window faces the street, right?
Oh, okay.
So I run out the window and I run outside and I go to the front of the house. And there's not a single person anywhere. And I'm just like, what the heck? What's going on? Am I crazy? Is there like a rat? A rat that's stuck in the wall or something and is trying to like escape? I don't know what's going on.
Around 210, you know?
Yeah, it's like
exactly
every single
210.
time.
So, we gotta get out at 2:10.
Right. And so I'm terrified, bro. It's the creepiest sound I've ever heard. Like it was like something is trying to claw its way into my room, right? And I tell my parents, hey, look, this is what I'm experiencing. And my mom being my mom, she just like, oh man, it's just because you're so sensitive to like the spiritual things. And I'm like, I don't want to be sensitive to the spiritual things, right? So third night comes around, 2:10 on the dot. And it just starts to move slowly and moves closer and closer, and it stops over my head. And as it stops over my head, I'm just like, leave me the hell alone! I'm trying to sleep!
It's like, do I come to your house?
and it stopped. It never happened after that. And then the next morning, I woke up, and I go to my parents, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry if I woke you up last night. Right, because I screamed at the top of my lungs, like I was like trying to yell at somebody down the street, right?
Oh wow!
And I was just like, leave me the hell alone! I'm trying to sleep. and I'm like, so I tell my parents, I'm sorry for waking you up, or, all this stuff. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, I yelled last night. And they're like, no, I didn't hear you yell, but I'm pretty sure I yelled.
Like, yo,
and my dad wakes up to like a drop of a pin. He's a light sleeper because he was a doctor in Guatemala, so he had to keep that, kind of like made him a light sleeper his entire adult life, because he had to make sure he'd be waking up for a surgery, an emergency, or whatever the case may be. Oh. So yeah, my dad has always been a light sleeper. Like he can hear me walk down the hallway sometimes when he's asleep, and he'll come and like, stop walking so loud. And like, I thought I was being ninja over here.
Evidently not.
Right, no. But yeah, they didn't wake up to that, and I'm telling you, that was the scariest moment. Like all the like when they grabbed my shoulder, I was like, oh, that's just weird and creepy. But the scratching on the window felt like menacing. Like it was truly trying to like get into my room or whatever. It was so terrifying. Oh man.
I don't know how you do it, bro.
It starts to walk towards the door. I mean, it can't knock, at least,
Right.
No.
Like,
it has to scratch its way in.
Yeah. It was, no, man. Ooh.
Oh, man. Hey, well, before we wrap up, I know you do gaming and you stream. So, yeah, where can people find you?
For sure. I play on Twitch. Or I stream on Twitch. I don't play on Twitch. I stream on Twitch, and you can find me at Rabbit Eats Dragons on Twitch, and on Instagram, and on Twitch. I already said Twitch. I meant Twitter. It's pretty much all the same.
They all sound the same.
All sound the same to me. English isn't my first language. But yeah, you can find me on all those platforms or whatever.
Awesome. Thank you so much for all your awesome, scary stories.
Yes, thank you.
That last one, though.
If you ever want any more, just let me know, because like I said, I have plenty.
He's like not even halfway yet, man. Part 3, here we come.
Let me open my catalog.
Right.
But thank you so much, Leo.
Yeah, thank you, Leo.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
And that wraps up this episode. Thank you to White Wong Media, and don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment on YouTube. All the links are down below. Thanks again for tuning in. See you next time.